Trixie and welcome to the Underground. My first podcast. I'm lying, it's not my first podcast. I used to do this one like in 2012 when no one else had podcasts. And plus I've been broadcasting for like 20 years. Had my own show, had a national radio show. I was a co-host of a sports show locally. So I know what I'm doing. I know how to speak. But this is actually, now I'm entering into it after many years. I got into marketing after radio, and it's just like I feel like I'm home again, just talking on the microphone, But I'm wearing my Ultra Music Festival jacket. That was in Miami this weekend, for those who don't know. That's where I got the underground from. I had the first underground house music show on college radio in my hometown. And I dragged my 70-year-old best friend to Miami, but he was like acting like a 20-year-old. Like, let's go in the front. I'm like, we're gonna get trampled. And I had to go to South Beach first to go shopping. We needed like 100 shirts. We take an Uber down there, and he's like, you can't get in there with all these bags. You gotta, lose the bags. I'm like, I'm not throwing my shirts out. So he just started stripping. His years in the hospital, in the emergency room at 4 a.m. paid off. He was like stripping down and putting all these shirts on, and I just followed him. And it was like an experience that I still remember to this day, but I wanted to be way in the back. And I like to listen. When I'm at a concert, I just like to look at all the people having fun and then look at what the DJ's doing, because that's what I used to do for a living, and I kind of judge. I'm like, is he playing good music? Some of it's crap, But, my friend was like, was an emergency room physician for like 38 years in the hospital. And, bring in the stab victims. And I'd be like, there's blood around me, I'm going to run the other way. But I got 3 topics that I want to talk about today, because I only have like 15 minutes because you guys have a short attention span. I'm sorry. But, my show was like a couple hours, but my average time spent listening was 1 hour. So I'm going to try to engage you guys. So let me get the old people glasses on first, because I'm old now. So, I'd like to talk about Taylor Swift. Everybody wants to get Taylor Swift tickets. Well, maybe not the grown-ups, but I'm like, 10 years old when it comes to music. I just like good music. And Taylor Swift, you gotta admit, Taylor Swift is the Elvis of this generation. Screaming people. But what's not different is like screaming people. When I saw Elvis when I was like 10, and I didn't get it. They were all throwing their underwear on the stage. I didn't really understand I wasn't really an Elvis fan. And I'm crazy because my parents took me to see Liberace when I was growing up. The only thing I remember about Liberace was, you like my rings? In this flamey voice. You just bought them. I don't remember anything he played. I just remember the flamey voice with that white fur coat asking if we liked his rings. And I don't remember anything else. But isn't that funny? After 30 years, I remember that. But I wanted to go see Taylor Swift. My friends were all like, they wouldn't go with me. They're like, why don't you hang out by the high school and try to find someone to go with you there? So I dragged my 9-year-old niece who's in love with Taylor Swift. And I talked to her father, my brother-in-law, because my sister just like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, come on, let's go. I'll spend $1,000. And so I go on there. He's like, go order them. And it said like $960. So I went to press submit, and then the final bill was like $1,400. I was like, you know what? I'm not giving $400 in fees to these people. What are they doing? Mailing me the tickets for $400? I'll watch it on DVD. But the big deal is the millennials are fighting with the Gen Zers. I didn't realize there was a war between the two. So I guess like the front row, crazy, they call them Swifties. They were screaming through the entire set and singing, and would that bother you at a concert? And it's like, I get how you're excited and stuff, but I guess if I was in the front row and someone wouldn't shut up, I think I'd be a little annoyed if I spent your parents are actually spending the money. Kids don't have that kind of money. But I remember going, because I love Fleetwood Mac, now I'm aging myself, but I love Stevie Nicks growing up. And I went to see for my birthday a cover band, it's called Rumors of Fleetwood Mac, and the person in front of me and she wasn't very good, and she kept singing, and it kind of annoyed me. So I have to think, if I was at a Taylor Swift concert and I heard someone just singing and singing and singing, like, I'm there to see Taylor Swift, to listen to Taylor Swift. I don't really want to hear some 12-year-old mouthing all the words, so it kind of bothered me. So I guess I defend the people complaining. They called them entitled. Yeah, I guess so. That's good parents, though. I mean, if you buy Taylor Swift tickets, how much are front row tickets for Taylor Swift? Like 15 grand? I can imagine, because I was like way in the back for 1,500. So front row, that's insane. But I'm gonna watch the DVD. I did see her in concert on the DVD, and that kind of made me like her more. I really think she's pretty good. I know you guys are like wincing when I called her the Elvis of the generation, but it's like the hysteria surrounding Swifties. They're just insane. And them crying because the Ticketmaster exploded and they couldn't get the tickets. It was like they couldn't get through it to go on with their lives, But a couple things. So the next topic I want to talk about is Diplo doesn't know he's gay. I think that's tragic if you don't know whether you're gay or straight. Diplo, if you don't know who he is, like it's my music, he's a DJ producer. He's got his own station on Sirius Satellite. He's great. But then I read these, okay, I don't want to define that I'm gay, he says, but I think the best answer is that I'm not gay. There's a couple of guys that I'd be like, I could date this guy. I got a problem with this right away. And then he said, if you get I don't want to say the word, there's men around here, but if you get like oral sex from another guy and you don't look at him while you're doing it, then you're not gay. So I just look at, I'm old fashioned. He's like, things are different now. No, things are not different now. They're not different. Gay, straight. It's not hard to figure out. You like men, you like women. I don't even believe there's bisexuals. Okay? There's asexuals, like people that don't want it anyway. But I've met people that said they're bi. I've never met a true bisexual because they're always like gay, but they don't really want to. They just dip into the water. They don't want to go. They don't want to like say it because it's a hard life to live. I'll say it. I'm gay. No big deal. After that, everything's cake. But I think that he says getting a BJ. I'm going to say BJ, okay? Because I don't want to get graphic in front of these. I got these macho men on the side of me. I don't want them to puke while they're in the room. But he said getting a BJ is not that gay. I think that's totally gay. I think that's one of the gayest things ever. He says he's a vibe guy, but I just think he's like wood chopping guy is kind of sexy. Okay, so if you're not looking at the guy that's doing it to you, then he's probably thinking about the wood chopping guy. So I just think. If you come out of the closet, it's going to be a lot easier. You might get a couple people abusing you. You mean maybe some religious people that think they're high and mighty, but I don't think really God measures sin. That's what a Baptist told me once. God doesn't measure sin. My sin's not any worse than yours. And me being Catholic, this is great. You can sin all the time, go to the priest, and you're all better. So I just want to help. If you need some help, Diplo, come to my channel, and I will help you come out of the closet. I don't think it's a big deal. It's not. It was worse in the closet. I used to kiss guys and come home and throw up. That wasn't pleasant. Once you come out, it's like, and they do it more than I do. I'm old. It's like I work and I go home. There's nothing going on. I had some fun time in my 20s, 30s, even 40s. But now that I'm ancient, I don't really do that much. Once menopause hits, you guys. You don't want much. There's not much going on. Couple things you're going to have to do to listen to my show. It's a lifestyle show, so you're going to have to watch Vanderpump Rules because there's a big thing with Tom Sandoval cheating on Ariana. They worked together for 10 years. I knew he cheated on her already. I don't know why she didn't know, but they had the woman that he cheated with. They called her Miami Girl. And she's like, yeah, we slept together. He's like, no, we didn't. And then he ran off behind the bar and ran outside. And that's when I knew he was cheating. So he's always cheating. He's probably always cheated. So I just think that's not a big surprise. And I always thought he was kind of, I don't want to say gay, but like he shaves his forehead. I don't want any guy like shaving in spots that I don't shave, And I feel bad. I'm not, there's Team Ariana and, no Team Tom. But I'm kind of in the middle because he said, we don't have sex like 4 times a year. What do you call that, marriage? You don't really have sex. They were together 10 years. This is what scares me about being in a relationship. Like, straight and gay, a little different. Like lesbians have their own thing. They call it lesbian bed death. That really sounds great, right? So they don't have sex. Because 2 women together, it's kind of like, oh, it's okay. You're not in the mood. If you got a guy in there, guys need sex all the time. So guys kind of keep it moving, So that's kind of good. I think that's good for a man to harass a woman. Like, I need sex. I don't think that's a bad thing to want sex from your wife, I just read something like, I don't know if it's Ann Landers or whatever. I don't know what they're talking to these days. But he's like, I don't want to cheat on my wife. She's a nurse. She doesn't want to have sex. But he wants to be with his wife, but she's too tired to have sex. I feel bad for this man. You know? And he's like, what do? I guess I would say, you know what? I'd go to the wife and I'd say, if you don't have sex with me, I'm going to have to get it, and I want your permission. If you're not going to give it to me, I'm still a sexual guy. You know, like I have 2 gay friends that do that. Like, I don't want it anymore. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Be honest about it and don't hurt people. That's what I got to say about that. All right, we talked about Taylor Swift. We talked about Diplo. The last thing I'm going to talk about is Chrissy Hynde. You know Chrissy Hynde? When I was growing up, we used to like the Pretenders. I loved Chrissy Hynde. She has an autobiography now. Reckless, My Life as a Pretender. And she talks about like getting, I don't know if it was a rape or sexual assault, one or the other, but she went to a Hell's Angels party and her friend knew enough not to go. But she went and she blames herself for the sexual assault. She says there were guys there with, I like rape pins on them. I guess I would like run out of the party at that point. But she blames herself for, like, I guess walking around in her underwear. Just let me stress this. It's not your fault. I don't even think, if you're naked, a guy should rape you. I don't think rape is good in any circumstance. And I never blame the woman. There's obviously a fault with the guy. You know, sex is different than rape to me. You want to have sex? That's fine. You know, I don't have a problem with loose women or whatever you got to do. But rape, it is never the woman's fault. I think that there's a problem there, but she blames herself. I don't like that. You know what? I always think of Chrissy Hynde as like this tough rock and roll star. And like to hear this, I don't know who taught her that, but that's kind of crazy, don't you think? I'm looking at you guys. You're like, there's like hands over the mouth. Like, oh, this is Trixie's first show. She's kind of crazy. That's okay. I will mention my friends. I have this fake person over here. I might bring them into the conversation, but it just reminds me of my friend that I used to hang out with. He lived like Ted Kaczynski, and you know who he is, but I'm not going to say who he is. But he didn't have a doorbell, so whenever I had to go to his house, I had to just bang on the door. So I walk into his house, and I walk into the bedroom. The guy's seen me naked, no big deal. I've known him for years. And I see a woman in his bed, blonde. I'm like, I'm sorry. He starts laughing. I go, what? I look closer. It's a blow-up doll. But it's not your average blow-up doll. It's got, like, it looked like Britney Spears, like blonde hair, a hat, and jeans. He went to, like, the Gap and bought her jeans. It was crazy. I'm like, this looks like a chick. Unbelievable. But, yeah, guys, you're so funny. You would do that. Women don't think like that. Like, we don't have blow-up guys. I don't understand. Maybe some do. I don't never did anything like that, but wow. I'm telling you, it's an education to go through life every day. But listen, I'm going to end the podcast. You probably are like, I don't know, I got to go to the bathroom or whatever. But I could go on for hours, and I'm going to do a weekly show, so you can just do TRIXXI'S Underground, so that's TRIXXI Underground. Just do a search on YouTube for me, and I'm going to try and be back here every week, depending on if these guys will let me. It's their studio, but I really appreciate them doing this because this is like home for me, and I really love this. But I'll have some more crazy topics. Listen, don't forget to watch the 10 Commandments. Don't forget to watch the 10 Commandments. I've been watching it since I was like 4 years old. Every year, I know every line from every character. That's how I fell in love with Ann Baxter when I was growing up. But yeah, it's one of the best movies of all time. Great lessons for you. So I know it's like 100 hours long, but just make sure we can talk about, watch Vanderpump Rules, watch, what else do I watch? Well, this is done. $1 Million Listing, but Real Housewives of New Jersey. We'll talk about that. That's awesome with Teresa and then fighting with her brother. But listen, until then, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.